Some of the best exercises we can do on nylon string guitar are combinations of techniques, and that ends up actually being much more fun to play and much more fun for the listener as well. So instead of having a chord progression like this, where we just do arpeggios, for example, or if we just played single notes like this, if we combine arpeggios and picado, lead playing, together, it would sound like this. Let's learn a couple ways to do this that we can translate to any key. So usually when you hear phrases like this, very, very common in Spanish guitar, flamenco guitar, we have a uniform thing happening with both techniques. So here we had a sextuplet with the arpeggio, 6 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just in the interest of flow and things continuing in a kind of a uniform way, the melody, the picado melody, will continue that same rhythmic idea. So if we're going like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So everything is kind of rhythmically the same, even between those two techniques. That's not always the case. But just consider though, if we did this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we had a group of 4 here, it might be kind of weird. I'm sure we could figure out how to do that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're talking about like a group of 10 there, which is kind of weird. So more often than not, you're going to hear the arpeggio, the number of notes in the arpeggio, very often the same number of notes in the picado. So we're going to do this 2 ways. We're going to do sextuplets, and then we're going to do 16th notes. So we'll have an arpeggio with 6 notes, and then we'll do it again with an arpeggio just with 4 notes, and we'll alter the picado phrase to fit the arpeggio. I happen now to be in the key of B minor, so I have a B minor chord, here's an A major chord, these are all bars, that's another challenge for us. G major and then F sharp, that's the Andalusian cadence. You could also argue that this is F sharp Phrygian, this key, we land there, right? And our scales are only going to manifest themselves in this exercise on these 2 strings, on the 1st and 2nd string. So this is our shape here. That's inside of this little box. A lot of people call that the minor box, minor scale. Although if you think about it, you can play the minor scale anywhere, so should there really be one box? Well, as guitarists, we think that way, but that's not really true. I can play that anywhere, right? Anyway, so we're just dealing with these shapes. Then on the A major chord, we have these notes. These are all the notes from the key of B minor. For G, we have this. We're just starting in every single case on whatever the note is on the B string in the chord that we're playing at that moment, okay? And then on F sharp major, we have this. We could play A sharp, that's the harmonic minor scale. Big stretch there, but you don't have to do that if you don't even know that scale. Just think that you're in the key of B minor, which is also D major. A natural is also fine. Okay, so our arpeggio is what we could call the double arpeggio here, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have our thumb. Notice how I'm planted here. That's a good vocabulary term to know, planting. Everything's kind of placed and ready to go here. I did a thumb rest stroke, and these are all free strokes though. Index, middle, ring, middle, index. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to take the highest note in this position that we're in and just come down 3 notes per string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can do this anywhere that you want, just with this first chord. And if you're new to this, I would do just that. Just only do this part and just do it everywhere that you can. But we happen to be here in this key on the 7th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have some options here. You can let it ring out like this and keep squeezing on the chord and go, so you can kind of still hear the chord there. Or you can let it, I think most people would try to, it's not easy to do, is to relax a little bit so that these notes are clear and they stand out. You could even take your finger off entirely, but that's another big challenge because we need to come right back to a bar again. So we could go like this. Or relax it when I play the picado phrase. See, I relaxed it, but I'm still there. Or take it off entirely. Okay, next chord is A, same exact idea. The highest note here is a C sharp. Pretty important here to, I would say, to relax, because if you don't, leave it down, this finger needs to come off, and we're going to end up hearing, accidentally probably, a C natural, which is wrong. It's not in the key. Relax, but then come back to the bar. Now for the G chord. F sharp. We don't need to stretch out. We can do that if you want, but the This is a great, great little exercise. So you really can move this anywhere. What if we were in C sharp minor? Same exact pattern, same exact picture, everything. And to resolve it, you can come back where you started or play that minor chord here to have a final kind of resolution conclusion to that exercise. Another common arpeggio would be the forward or the reverse arpeggio. So the double arpeggio was a group of 6, right? We went thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. But very often we'll also see, very, very common, a thumb, index, middle, ring. That's a group of 4. That's the forward arpeggio. Or to go backwards, it's not literally reverse, but we call it the reverse arpeggio. Thumb first and then ring, middle, index, whichever one is more comfortable to you. Although my philosophy is whatever is not as comfortable to you is the one you should be practicing, right? Because we got to wonder, like, why do my fingers not want to do that, but they want to do this? Well, work on the hard thing, and the thing that they already like to do, you'll get better at that just by working on the harder thing. So we'll do this both ways. I'm going to start with the forward arpeggio. We're going to do this twice. Thumb, index, middle, ring, and my thumb will go to the next string because we're going to do 2 groups of 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and for the lead we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of works out perfectly how the last note is a note already in the bar. 8 notes, 2 groups of 4. And again, you can just stay forever as you're practicing this just on this one shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was doing the forward arpeggio there. Like we can do reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the challenge here is going between these 2 techniques is not easy. It's such a great exercise. And by the way, if we were going to write on the page what we just did, those would be 16th notes, and we would conceive of it as 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 beats with the arpeggio and 2 beats for the picado phrase. One exercise you could do to kind of get into this is just do open strings, play it on arpeggio. I'll do a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go into picado here. Start with whatever finger you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the challenge is to not move your hand. It really is. Like, you should film yourself when you do things like this, because our brain and our fingers, they tend to think, okay, I'm going into a new technique, so I have to radically alter my position and what I'm doing. That's usually, thankfully, not the case. And when you do that, it's just too much of a disruption. So our goal, I think, ultimately would be to go do an arpeggio. And don't move at all. Keep your wrist and your arm and your elbow and everything exactly where they are. I'm doing now a group of 6, double arpeggio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. And that's exactly what we need when we do this kind of thing. So it's tough for both hands. So to continue from here, we can do the forward arpeggio or the reverse arpeggio. I'll do the reverse first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, or we could say, I'm down on A now. This is how we really would count it. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. You notice right there I did a reverse arpeggio and then a forward one. That's a good way to mix it up. 1 E and a 2 E and a, that was reverse, followed by a forward arpeggio. But everything that we're doing here in both cases, whether it's the sextuplets we did or these groups of 4, 16 notes, everything is completely uniform. So if you put the metronome on, play nice and slow, you could even get it to where the metronome is marking every single stroke that we make. And that's a good way to check to see if you're doing everything completely evenly and uniform. So as you're learning about scales and chords and how those all fit together, you should always be doing things like this. Every song that you play, there'll always be a little section in there, a little riff or a little theme that gives you kind of a template to translate it to other keys and other positions and see how you can do things like that yourself. So just to kind of keep doing variations on this, we could go... So anything that's a uniform rhythm, something that makes sense, where you're going back and forth like that, it doesn't have to be this complicated. If this is too hard for you, you could simply go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Try to make it the same thing rhythmically as you go from chord to chord. Not because that's a rule, but it's just easier for our brain to process and just a really kind of a great exercise. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. What I was showing you earlier with open strings, we had this arpeggio and we're trying not to move and do this picado thing. Check out my free workshop where I talk about the 3 fundamental techniques: arpeggio, picado, and even rasgueo. I have an exercise for you in that workshop that really works on your right hand and gets you playing the right way and saves you tons of practice time. Check that out. And if you're just getting into combining scales and chords together, check out this video where we talk about improvising in the key of A minor.